Hi, it's Hazelle.
Hey, it's Azura.
And it's Germaine.
And welcome back to another episode of Clevities Podcast.
We are so happy to be back with you, and today we are talking about something that is not just a female-centric problem. It affects everyone, and we have a special guest in the house, Sangeeta.
Hi!
Yeah, that's right. So today we're talking about work-life balance. Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Okay, so hi, I'm Sangi and I am a full-time air stewardess and I also work freelance at the Smart Local.
Wow, holding two jobs at once.
She's a Singapore girl.
Yeah, you might know her from her Instagram handle, not Agnes Bay. What is the reason behind that?
There's a whole story to like not Agnes B, but basically in summary, right, when I was in secondary school, it started off as like a joke kind of thing and then it just stuck on after that. Because it's actually a brand, like Anya Bay.
Anya Bay.
Yeah, and I changed it a couple of times actually.
Okay.
To like my name and everything. But somehow it just didn't stick. Like, I don't know, eventually I just thought myself, okay, never mind. I'll just create my own branding in a sense.
Sure.
And then that's what happened.
It's like a stage name for you.
Yeah, it's like a stage name now. So people always assume, oh, hi, nice to meet you, Agnes.
Oh no!
I'm just there like, yeah, I mean, it has 5 alphabets from my name.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough. I love that. First name Agnes, last name Bay. Okay.
Right.
So today we're talking about work-life balance, and I think the thing to note is that in one day, we only have 24 hours. You cannot pile so many things up in your life that you don't even have space to breathe. I know some people here do that. We will talk about it later. So at some point, we really have to see, okay, what are our priorities? So let's get some thoughts from the floor, okay? Very simple, let's keep it brief. Yes or no, does work-life balance really exist? Have a think.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Hey! Starting off on a good note. Yeah, I think, it really is what you make out of it, but it is a conscious effort to have that balance, right? So maybe we'll go to each of us. Hazy, when it comes to work-life balance, be honest with us. What is your own experience?
There is no balance.
No balance.
I think there is work-life balance, just that I choose not to have it. I enjoy working. I enjoy working a lot. I don't mind spending all my time from the moment when I wake up to the moment before I sleep. To spend just on work, replying emails, planning my content. It's fun. It's fun being in our line of work. We are radio DJs, we are content creators. I always enjoy planning my show, thinking of what to put up on Instagram next. My IG stories, crafting everything. It just brings huge joy to me.
Wow, very, very hardworking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like so packed, you know?
Cause no boyfriend, yeah.
That's right.
Sangi, are you someone that throws yourself into work as well?
Okay, for me the thing is, like Hazel, I do enjoy, like once I wake up, I have things to do, I'm like, yes, it's a productive day.
Yes.
And then once I go to sleep, I'm like, I feel so comfortable that I finished everything. It gives me a form of like satisfaction. And to me as a person, that's what makes me happy. But if you ask me, do I feel like I'm constantly working? No. Because the line of work that I do, you don't really feel like you're working if you really enjoy it. So before my flights, I do get ready. I think that's the most tiring part of my job. Like before flights and after flights, because it's the waking up in the wee hours in the morning, especially like flights nowadays because of COVID. A lot of flights are in the early mornings. So I do get up a lot earlier. And then after flights, that's the worst. Imagine you do a 12 hours duty on an aircraft and sometimes you get delayed in countries and then you come back and then you're just like, I just want to sleep. But you can't because you have to get back home, take a good shower, remove everything, unpack your bag and everything. So that's the tiring part of my job. But the flying is honestly like really okay. So you don't feel like, I just went to work.
Yeah.
But what's the longest period of time that you've been awake, not getting sleep at all?
You're asking me during flying or pre-flying?
Anything.
Okay, I think when I used to be in like poly and everything, I have been awake for nearly 48 hours. Yeah. Because I run on coffee and sugar.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I can function without sleep. Like I'm someone who can function without sleep because I need to get work done.
Okay.
And eventually it's very unhealthy because it takes a toll on your body a lot. But I think ultimately you kind of have the satisfaction of finishing up whatever work that you have. And in the middle of these, you also do other things. Like my form of break is like, like we were on a break, we watch Friends.
Watching Friends, absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I love to watch Friends as like my downtime.
Like decompress,
Yeah.
right? Zura, what about you? When it comes to work-life balance, she's a
work-life
champion.
balance. Yeah, she's a champion.
Okay, I love work.
Yeah.
I do
can tell.
think. Oh, thank you. I do think that we are all very lucky that we get to do something that we love every day, and it does not feel like work. You know, we don't have to drag ourselves to work. But at the same time, it's very important for me, right? Okay, so first of all, we all know that I run on a little bit more energy than most people.
Every day.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't get physically tired, but I do get mentally tired. So I need to take that time for myself, and I've consciously made an effort, right, to understand that work will never end. And when I need it, I'll put myself first. Yeah, so it may not be the best thing because I think it's very hard for people to reach me sometimes.
Sometimes I need to call her husband to reach her. But anyway, sorry
It's true.
everyone. Sorry
It's
everyone.
true.
Call him at 7 a.m. But anyway, I feel like you need to be unapologetically, yourself and take time for yourself.
Yeah, I think sometimes, honestly, it's just necessary to do that. So I'm that person, right, who can, okay, if I have a lot of work and I've been doing work the entire day and everything like that, at some point I will put my phone aside and say, wait, I'm gonna eat.
Love it. Love it.
And
Food
I
is
mean,
always first.
That's right. Yes.
Food's life.
And maybe some people can't do that, or maybe some people think that like that's irresponsible. But I'm sorry, I need that 20 minutes or half an hour to eat. Don't disturb me. I'll get back to you later because I can't function now.
I love that. Yeah. You have to be selfish about it. Because no one's going to do that for you.
Correct.
She's the champ.
Yeah.
What about you, Jimmy?
Well, honestly, my version of a break, the one thing I cannot give up is sleep. I cannot forgo sleep, if I don't sleep at least 6 hours,
Right.
I'm gonna be grumpy. Like I can forgo watching shows, doing fun things, but sleep I really cannot. That is when my mind rests, and that is literally when your brain heals. If you don't get REM sleep every day, Hazy, your brain cannot heal from the stress of the day.
I agree. There are certain nights where I only function on 3-4 hours of sleep, and I realize that that's really taking a toll on my, not my physical health, but my mental health. I am upset most of the time. I find myself eating more because I just feel so tired,
Yeah.
and then I put on weight. Then this becomes a vicious cycle, you know what I mean? So now I'm getting more sleep, 6-7 hours.
Very
Fantastic.
That's okay, right?
great. We're proud of you.
Honestly, I've learned
Absolutely.
a lot from Jeremy and Azura. They are
To
both
sleep and to eat.
Azura is so chill. Like she has taught me so much in a lot of like important moments that just happened over the past few weeks. I just channel my inner Azura. When something just happens and it's huge, right? Like when I get into like a minor accident, I just think, Azura,
What would
Azura
Azura
vibes.
do?
Like, what would Azura do? And I did the exact same thing that she would.
Yep.
I put my phone aside. I said, "Fuck you" to the world. I ate my dumpling noodles.
Yes, that's right.
I'm so proud of you, man.
And I felt immensely better after. And I very proudly shared this with them, and they were like clapping for me.
Very good.
Because guys, the motto is if you can't do anything about it, don't stress about it.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
But Sangeeta, sleep is important. Please don't
I
do
know.
it without sleep
I think the
anymore.
worst is when you're on standby calls.
Yeah.
So you don't realize, and then you're just out there like at night, like partying, like they won't call me.
Yeah.
And then
The call comes.
the call comes, and then you're just sitting there like the one day I choose to like not sleep.
Yeah.
And then the reporting time is like another 4 hours.
Oh no.
So that's the tough parts for me when I have like those like really long red eye flights and they start at like weird hours on the day and I just don't get enough sleep. So by the time I pack and do everything, I usually get like 2 hours of sleep before a really, really long
Before you
flight.
pop in on the red eye.
That's right.
You know that song?
No.
Huh? Isn't that the Justin Bieber's new song?
Oh.
Ah!
Sorry.
Let's move on.
Okay, so let me tell you guys about these concepts, okay? Let's get it down. Work-life balance. This is where you segregate, okay, this is work, this is life, right? When I'm off work, I'm living my life. But these days, lines are blurred.
Especially with work from home.
Correct. And with Sangeeta's case where you're not doing like a 9 to 5. Are you really ever off work? You're on standby. You're waiting for your next gig and all that. Work-life integration is something that a lot of people practice where they don't see like, okay, this is work and this is life, but rather everything is life. It's all a part of life and it's all kind of like integrated together. There are some pros and there are some cons to this. The pro is that, okay, it gives you a bit more of a gentle transition. Right? It's not such a hard and fast rule like, oh, I cannot do my work right now, let me live my life.
Right.
The con is that with work from home, with technology, you are always on 24/7. And if you don't give yourself that boundary, you are bound to always be working. Who has replied work message at night? Obviously, right? Yeah.
I feel so bad for my colleagues, you know.
Why?
Because it's the only time I can get back to them. 3 a.m. in the morning. After I shower,
Yep.
I sit down, I get to look through my emails, look through my texts, you know.
No, I
and like
completely
for me, sometimes I do like long flights and then I come back really late. So when I come back, then I get like all the reception, and then I get my producer texting me, Sangi, can you please approve the script for this at like, please approve it by 2 p.m. I look at the time, it's 8 p.m. right now.
Because you're juggling 2 jobs and one of your jobs
Exactly.
consists of like different time zones.
Yes, exactly. So because of that, it gets a bit like, you're just there sitting, I feel bad. I always feel so bad because I reply people so late.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I have because I don't even have reception. It's not about me putting my
Right.
phone away. It's just, I'm not even contactable sometimes. And I think that's where, like what you mentioned, it gets very blurred. You know, you don't realize that you're integrating like small parts of your work and your life together.
I think it's a very different situation for you as well. It must be very hard to keep track of your schedule. How? Like, do you use your iCal or?
So I was never someone who writes things on my calendar because I can remember every single thing.
Wow, very
Usually-
good.
Wow.
Yeah, but
I
then
used to be able to do
This
that.
is like me last time. Correct.
This is what old age, ah?
But then as I get older,
Yeah.
certain things in the brain doesn't really function.
I
right?
understand.
Right.
So just last week, I was settling like this week's shoots because I have my off week this week. I kid you not, I booked 2 shoots at the same time on the same day with 2 different people. And I'm just there sitting like, and thank God I noticed it like 2-3 days before, and I only could change one of them because one of it was like an external client and then one of it it's like internal. So I was like, I am so sorry. And I felt so bad because I didn't like keep track of my stuff. So yeah, nowadays I use a calendar and then I have like reminders like a few hours before because I'm telling you, this one is getting rusty a bit.
You know what? I think that's a sign of us working too much and too hard.
So too.
Yeah, it fills our memory sometimes.
Yeah.
No, honestly, when it comes to schedule, right, it gives me a lot of anxiety. It really does. And
We cannot tell, Azura. You're always so chill. I love it. No, it's good, you know?
It's the perception.
Yeah, it's the perception.
It's what you portray outside. Nobody's gonna know.
I know. Oh, they know.
Yeah, but when you see your calendar filling up, you're like, oh
No,
man.
so the issue is when I don't put things in immediately.
You'll forget about them.
So sometimes you're like, okay, you say okay, you say okay, you say okay, and then you're like, okay, never mind, I'll put it in later.
The later never happens.
And then the later haven't happened, but things are coming in, and you know, like, but there was like stuff here. Oh, my god.
And what was it? What was it?
Oh,
You know,
and
like,
then I have like, okay, hold on, I have to sit down. But then you don't even know where to look sometimes. Like, did I forget something? So that one, right, gives me a lot of like, wow, honestly.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you
This
mean.
just proves that we are serious about our work, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
Okay, our company, right, MediaCorp, they actually made this decision recently. It's called a hybrid working model. So basically, they can choose whether or not they want to come into the office and they can choose their hours. Do you guys think this sort of hybrid working situation is better or worse for work-life balance?
Better. That's
I
for
think
sure.
it's better for sure.
Better.
Oh?
Yeah.
So my colleague Joyce, she's a mum. So if she can choose to do her work from home, it's going to benefit her a lot. And she's very, very efficient and competent. Shout out to Joyce of Joseon San. Oh my goodness, she's incredible. But she also can spend time with a kid, you know. So that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And when you need to come in, you can choose to come in.
Yeah.
Have some time away from,
Yeah.
you know, the family and all that.
Definitely. And I think the working hours thing, I think that's very important. We don't realize it, how important working hours are. Because some of us are like night people and some of us are like morning people. So some of them really can wake up like, whoa. Like when I used to work like 9 to 5 internship times, I was dragging myself to work. Because it was so early in the morning, and sometimes I do end pretty late as well. But then things started changing because of certain schedule I had, and I could come in a lot later, like maybe like 10 or 11. But I also end like really late at like 1 a.m. But that's fine. Because I have a couple of hours of break in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, but that working hours, just that few hours of getting to sleep in and start my day a bit later was like, yay!
A whole world of difference,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Because I'm not a morning person.
I see. And it increases your productivity as well.
Exactly,
At
yeah.
the end of the day, yeah. I think honestly, because of COVID, a lot of these things have shifted the way that we go into work. It's no longer a 9 to 5 situation.
Right.
And it's great. I think it's better for the world, better for our mental health.
And people are getting used to it. At the start of it, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew how to, separate their lives, how to navigate around things. So I think now that we're used to it, and employers also acknowledge that, this is possible, that this might even be, helpful for their employees. ease. So people are creating systems around it. And I think that's great.
For
And
sure.
thanks to COVID, we now realize how many meetings can be virtual.
Can be an
Exactly.
email.
That is true. That is true.
It can even just be like a phone call or a text. Like, hi, can I
Exactly.
just check with you something? Rather than, oh, let's organize a meeting. You walk into the meeting room, 5 minutes later, okay, we're done. We're like, huh? You called the meeting for this?
I came down all the way for this.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Exactly. And honestly, Zoom has been a lifesaver. Thank you, Zoom. Big
Thank
shout
you,
out. Hashtag not sponsored. Anyway, okay, I think as women, right, we might feel a greater pressure when it comes to achieving work-life balance. We need to think about, okay, when we have a family, if you're working full-time and you have to take care of your family, how are you actually going to balance both of that?
That's tough. But I know one thing's for sure. I want to be there for my kid.
Yeah.
So, next time, after I have my own family, I definitely want to maybe don't prioritize my work so much, prioritize my family. Because, if you miss it, that time will be gone forever. Your kid will only be this young once.
Absolutely. And that's how I know that I'm not ready for a child because I'm not willing to give up anything in my life right now
Okay.
to dedicate. And I think it's not being selfish, but rather you want to love your child and have that space for them.
That's being selfless, actually.
Selfless.
Yeah. Because if you jump into it without being prepared and you don't have the time for your kids, that's being selfish.
That's true as well.
So I think it's really something that most people don't understand, I feel, or they haven't come to a point where they are ready to prioritize certain things.
Yeah.
Like how you mentioned, like you are not ready to have a kid at this point of time, and that's okay. You know?
Yeah,
I agree.
and talking about kids, I think that is what scares me as well, because you want to do and you want to keep up to your current lifestyle, but you also want to be able to fully be there for your kids. And a part of me wonders if that is just a wishful thinking, So actually, right, quite recently I had a conversation with a male colleague from our line of work. And this person, so basically was asking me about whether I had plans to have kids. And I said, yeah, but, I think it's scary because I don't know if I'll be able to handle both without having to give things up.
Yeah.
And he said, honestly, I think you might have to. And honestly, I think it's harder for girls. So he feels like he can still carry on doing whatever he does because he's a guy and he sort of gets away with it a little bit more. And he said, I don't know if it sounds terrible, but sometimes the mothers are just needed a little bit more. And I understand where he's coming from,
No, but as a father, you got to put in the equal amount of effort,
Yeah.
right? You have to pick up the slack. It's not just on the mom. So
Yeah.
as a father going into a situation having a kid, you need to be prepared to give up something as well, to be there for your family.
For sure, but maybe more effort comes from making the bread and the butter
Yeah.
from the father's side. I do agree. Somehow, as kids, we tend to be a bit more emotionally dependent on our mothers.
Yeah.
At least that's for me. I don't know about you girls.
It's true. I think people look for their mothers for everything.
Yeah.
And maybe also because the father has made it such that ask your mother.
Okay, maybe.
Go and look for your mother.
Yes.
Right?
That's absolutely true.
Well, for me, I would beg to differ actually, because in my household, I think it's just the way that we've been brought up. Both my grandfather and my dad, they are very much involved. So, like you said, in anything, I'll go to my mom. Actually, first thing I would go to my dad. Actually, yeah, I would be like, okay, so this happened. What do I do? And then he'll be like, okay, you do this, okay. Then I'm like, okay, you don't tell mom. Don't tell mom. Kind of thing sometimes. But sometimes I do obviously go to my mother as well. It's a very equal thing. Like what you mentioned, the dads need to step up. And I think both my mom and my dad made a lot of sacrifices to raise me and my sister up.
But I think when it comes to work-life balance, something that really causes me anxiety is this whole idea of the hustle culture. Because I go onto social media, I see people post on TikTok, here is my day, 5 a.m., coffee, 6 a.m., running, 7 a.m., have a bowl of salad. Walao! I'm not even awake by 7 a.m.
exactly.
It causes me stress. Am I supposed to be doing that?
No, you have to remember, honey, that's the one day that they did that.
That's
Exactly,
right. That's
for
what
the
I tell my
TikTok.
dog. That's
For the
content.
TikTok.
Oh my goodness. But this whole thing about hustle culture, I think, in my personal opinion, and also according to Elle, is workaholism with a very nice shiny name to it. Hustle culture. But
Yeah.
really, are you overworking yourself and making yourself burnt out? I have a cousin who works in investment banking. She used to work until 3 a.m., would wake up at 5 and go back to work.
Wow.
0 sleep.
as much as I love my work, I love my job, I cannot forgo my sleep like Jeremy has mentioned. I don't think I've ever been awake for 24 hours straight. Like,
That's great.
I cannot. I at least have to take a nap or rest.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how you did for the 8 hours.
I also don't know how I used to do that as well.
But I think I want to acknowledge as well, because we said so much about how, women might have it a little bit harder with what they have on their plates and things like that. But I do think that, guys struggle with work-life balance a lot as well.
For sure.
I think because of how they see careers in their lives, how they, hold it at such high value. I think that is a reason for them to sort of struggle with work-life balance as well.
Okay.
I mean, especially now, I think a lot of guys are understanding that everything at home is 50-50, right? Because women are working. It's I think they're understanding that it's a together thing, which is great. So that adds things on their plate as well, I feel. And I think that it's a struggle for them to balance as well. Yeah. So Aaron's a workaholic, and he's the kind who will not eat and sit at his desk the entire day.
He's so skinny.
Oh my. That's dangerous. That is dangerous.
He is like that.
Food is life.
And I am that person, right, who will come in and say, listen, today you die, tomorrow they replace you, you understand?
Oh.
Wow, that's damn
That's harsh, but that's true.
That's what my mom says to my dad. Yeah.
But it's true. And every time I feel like people spread themselves too thin, I think they really need to remember, today you die, tomorrow they replace you.
Yeah, that's true.
At the end of the day, no amount of wealth is more important than your health.
That's right.
Yeah. But okay, this idea of hustle culture, do we feel pressured by it?
It's not healthy for me to say this, but I actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
same.
think
Yeah.
I think I belong in the hustle culture. I'm like, ooh, work,
Love it.
love it.
Yeah, I'm stretched out thin. That's great.
I know it's not good, but I also do indulge myself in workout sessions, runs. I don't skip my meals at all. I sleep well.
That's good.
great.
That's great. So that's the thing. We compensate for our working with our own self-love kind of things, which is like
Exactly.
exercising and eating and sleeping. Those are important.
And being in our line of work, when we are working out, we can also snap a few IG stories or two. It's part of content, right?
That's
So,
right.
Making work-life integration. See?
That's right.
There we go.
I see. I mean, sometimes when I look at Hazy's Instagram stories and she's up till 3, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I feel stressed,
No!
Should I be up till 3?
You know what's the problem? The problem is when I see her post, I am still awake and I see it. That's when I know, okay, I can text her.
Okay, there's something actually that I need to ask you guys. It might be a very tough question, but I have to put you on the spot. It's called the work paradox triangle. So there are 3 points of a triangle, right? One of them is sleep, one of them is work, the last one is social life. You can only choose 2 out of 3. So for example, if you choose sleep and work, you have no social life.
Okay.
Okay, that's the idea.
Which one you would
Correct.
forgo?
Yeah.
Would you forgo
Okay,
work?
okay,
Would you forgo
okay,
sleep or
okay.
your social life?
Social life. Okay, let's go one by one.
One by one.
Hazy,
For me, social life.
I knew it.
I can't give up my sleep, and work is actually a lot about social connectivity for me.
True.
So to me, that's the best of both
Yeah.
worlds.
Lucky you work with your friends.
Really? See?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
For me, I think, wow. Yeah, I think I'll give up social life as well because, as much as you guys work with your friends, when we fly with our friends as well.
Nice.
So that's the thing. I think that's the common thread where you realize that when you go to work, you're like, hey, nice to meet you. Hey, I'll see you on flight, okay? Or you look forward to your roster because you know that you're going to meet your
Oh,
friends.
that's so nice.
Yeah, so that is my social life. And when I'm at TSL, it's also my friends. I'm making videos with my friends. I don't feel like I'm going there answering to my boss or anything. It's more of sitting down, having a chat, creating content together. So I'm cool. That's my social life. That's my form of a break as well. So yeah,
Plus, Singapore Airlines got very good at bread and butter.
I'm not in Singapore Airlines.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
Moving on.
Moving on.
But that just proves who you work with and the environment that you work with is so important.
Very important.
Yeah.
It's crucial.
It's very
Zura, what would
You
you?
know the answer already.
Okay, I want to guess.
Let me say first, I already wanted to touch about this, so this is very timely. This is
Okay.
a problem I struggle with. Answer for me.
Okay,
One-
which would she forgo, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Sleep.
I'm about to beat you. You need more sleep.
They know me too well.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's a problem I struggle with. It doesn't help that I don't need as much sleep or I have more energy. You know what I mean? So I don't feel physically tired, but I'm mentally tired and I know I'm mentally tired. And because I don't want to give up other things, I rather forgo my sleep so I can hit everything else.
But this woman can really function on no sleep. It's really insane.
Thing is, she can function on no coffee as well. I can't. If you can't as well, we have a giveaway for you.
Yes.
Stay tuned to the end of this episode, okay? We're going to be telling you more. But that's what I'm saying. Azura can function without coffee.
And without sleep.
That's crazy.
She worked till, what time was it? Can you just do a quick recap that day with your overnight shoot?
Oh gosh. That was terrible.
I went from radio at 5
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah.
to 9 p.m., right? And then I reported on set at 9:30 p.m. and then I shot till 2 p.m. the next day.
Huh? Like overnight?
Yeah,
Overnight.
Till morning, till afternoon?
Yeah, till
afternoon,
afternoon, 2 p.m. the next day. And I had to be at MediaCorp at 3 p.m. So I didn't get to go home. I went straight
For recording, right?
for a recording and then the show. So I carried on
Again,
till
the
9
second
p.m.
show.
again.
No, and the thing is that she wasn't even grumpy. Like, she was still in high spirits.
Very happy, this girl.
Albeit a bit tired, but not like angry at the world. Because if I were her, I'd be like,
That's nice. So cute.
yeah, but please get your sleep.
Yeah.
But I support it. I like it. Hey, I like it. I legit love it.
No, you mean you like her energy and the vibes, not the part where she didn't get to sleep, right?
No, I mean, okay, honestly, if I was in her shoes, I would do the same thing.
Understand.
Like, because it's like I said, it's something that you like to do.
Yeah.
So when you turn up for work, you don't really feel it. I mean, you're mentally drained because you're like, okay, my brain cells are like tired.
Yeah.
But physically, you're just there like, yeah, you know what, let's go. Another shoot, let's go.
But don't you think you cannot give your best for the shoot?
No, I don't feel that way. Like, for me, there are days where I've landed at like 4 a.m. in the morning and I have a call time for like a shoot at like 9 o'clock. So if I land at 4, means I get back home at 5:30 or 6.
Yeah.
So by the time I shower and everything, I see the sunrise at 7 o'clock. I sleep for like an hour and then that's it. I get up at 8, run for my shoot. But I don't feel tired.
As much as you don't feel tired, sometimes we have to remember that we can always perform better on more sleep.
Yeah.
And this is something
That's right.
maybe we don't realize as well.
Yeah,
That's right.
and exhaustion compounds, right?
Right.
So if you're doing this consistently over a few nights,
That's it.
something's bound to give way.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Once in a while is okay, then you get your rest and all that.
Yeah.
I think personally for me,
I
same
can't
as
decide.
Hazy,
Oh, okay.
I will
You
give up my social life.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was deciding between work or social life for
She'll
you.
never give up
social
sleep,
life
honestly.
for sure. I'll never give up sleep. That's number one. Work, I'll never give up because I love money. To be honest with you, social life. The thing is that I like being alone. So I find that I recover the most when I'm alone. Like
Okay.
just in bed, even if I'm doing nothing or whatever. So I can forgo meeting my friends. Yeah, not them though. I can't forgo seeing them.
We are overly attached. Hashtag overly attached. Meet up every night.
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly. But it's very easy to burn out. Like,
sure.
a lot of us have experienced before at some point in our life where we just go too hard and then something gives way. Is that like right now for you guys? For anyone?
So last week I had like back-to-back flights. So in like 7 days you do 4 flights. I wake up at 5 o'clock every day and then I will fly all the way and I come back maybe past midnight sometimes or maybe at 11 or 10 p.m. And then after that you rest for like the next day. And usually that the next day rest, you don't feel fully rested.
Yeah.
Because you have to wake up and I don't have jet lag because I've learned how to cope with it for a very long time. So if I come back really late, even if it's like at 12 or whatever, I don't sleep till it's like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm sitting down there on my phone watching TikTok and going like, because that is my time for myself.
This thing about scrolling at night. So this is something that I encounter as well. Every night I need to sit by myself and I'm just on my phone or just, taking some time for myself, even though I'm really tired, even though I know I should sleep, even though it's like really late. And then I read somewhere that it's called something like sleep rebellion revenge or something like that.
bedtime procrastination. Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.
Because you have control of your time at night. No one needs
Yes,
you, and you feel like I'm gonna rebel against sleep. I'm gonna do what I want.
Correct.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think it's discipline to just put your phone aside and just go to bed. Because once you start scrolling, you cannot stop.
That's true.
But what about the both of you?
When it comes to feeling burnt out, I think I've learned to cope better with it. But maybe about a year or a year and a half ago, I felt so tired from everything that was going on. I came home every day and I cried.
Okay.
Like every day I was just crying. I was upset. I didn't want to, do anything anymore. But still, I will say like, I fuck it, I don't want to do anything anymore. Then I still show up to shit.
Yeah.
You know, I can't forgo that part of my life, but I didn't know how to look at it in a positive way.
Or say no sometimes.
And say no, yeah. I find it really hard to turn things down.
correct.
And I think Asaf really changed my perspective on that. Like, even though he might have had a really tough and long day, when he comes home, he can leave it at work. He doesn't bring it home through the front door.
Very good.
It was very hard for me to do, but now I try to do that as well. You know, my problems exist outside of my personal space. Let me decompress by myself.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I think that's something they told us to practice when we started flying as well. Like literally every time before I step onto the aircraft, I'll hold the aircraft.
Oh.
I'll just touch it and I'll be like, okay, it's a good flight. So the minute I say that, it's my way of telling myself whatever shit I've been feeling, even when I'm
leave
sad
it
or whatever,
outside.
you leave it outside the aircraft because you are 40,000 feet above ground. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Nobody can reach you. Nobody cares. Nothing's happening. You know, even if it's just like a 2-hour flight, nothing's happening. So I'll be on that vessel, and when I'm leaving that aircraft, I'll be like, okay, that's it. Whatever happened on the aircraft stays in the aircraft. When we close the door, that's it. That really helps like segregate, and you tell yourself, work is work, personal life is personal life. And if you kind of get into that momentum after a while, it helps you breathe a lot more. Yeah.
So that's how you cope with, you know, burnt out. But what about you, Hazy? When did you feel the most burnt out?
So many times in my 4.5 years of being in this industry, especially because I'm on the night belt. So very quickly, sometimes I film in the morning. So I end at 12 midnight. Sometimes I go to sleep at like 2, 3. I have to be back at MediaCorp at 7. So I have to wake up at 6 a.m., right? Which means I'm getting like 3 hours of sleep. Even though it's not 1 hour, it's 3 hours, I still feel very, very burnt out. Even though I'm there on set, I feel like my mind just isn't there. I know that I'm not getting enough rest, and I just ask myself, I'm so cute. Why do I have to work? Why?
But you
Why?
are so cute.
You are so cute. So sweet. But it upsets me, and I feel a lot more negative. I feel like I need to binge eat. I feel like every chance I get, I want to just sit at a corner and just snooze and take a nap. And sometimes after a nap, you just feel even more tired.
yeah.
I don't like that at all. So what I can do is just try to schedule my shoots a bit more further apart. So it doesn't affect my radio show at night. And I hate it when anything gets into the way of my radio show, because for me, my listeners are first before anyone else.
I think it really is a conscious decision like you have to make for yourself.
Exactly.
Zura, what about you?
I have began to notice that I sort of go through a burnout every quarter.
Okay.
So
Oh, right,
every-
you mentioned.
Yeah.
So every 3 months, I'll feel a bit off. And once I know it's there, right, I have to take that little break, even if it's just one day. I feel like it's very important, because if not, everything and the quality of my presence is compromised.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that stresses me out when I cannot give you my best. Yeah. So that's when I know, give me some time, let me, just sort of like rest a little bit, find a little bit of fun, and just sort of like recalibrate before I come back and continue running. Yeah.
Absolutely. And burnout, right, is something that can cause health problems as well. And you don't realize it.
That's
But in the long run, it not only hurts like your productivity, it has been proven to cause weakened immune systems as well as cardiovascular disease. So these could have very real consequences. And it doesn't help that Singapore is ranked the second most overworked city worldwide.
I thought we were number 1. Oh, that's stressful.
I think
is it?
Japan is number 1 if I'm not wrong.
But I thought they're allowed to take naps. I saw this article where if someone's napping on a cubicle in Japan, they're like, oh, he's working very hard. It's a good thing. Let him rest.
But yeah, I think maybe we can share some tips with, the people listening right now from our own personal experience. How can we cope and deal with burnout? Because I think a lot of people are facing that as well.
For sure. I didn't used to believe in this, but after breaking up with my boyfriend, I found that solo staycations really helped me recalibrate a lot.
You have been on quite a few solo staycations.
Yes, solo staycations.
Solo.
It's really me by myself, and then I'll just walk around wherever I'm staying, just taking the night view, and then come back and buy my favorite tacos,
Oh,
just spend time by myself.
That's right. I love tacos.
I've really proceeded to book my next solo staycation.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's way.
I think this is a very good way. You guys should try it.
So how often is your solo staycation? Once a month?
Unfortunately, no. Only if time allows. But I'm booking it in advance so I
Yeah.
can block out all other work that comes
right.
in the way.
Yeah, and I definitely second that notion. By the way, solo staycations are the best. But okay, this is where like I'm gonna flex a little bit. I don't have to pay for my staycation. That's right.
Why?
Because my company flies to.
Oh, okay,
it's like
okay.
a solo staycay all the time.
That's true. That's true.
I didn't realize the importance of a solo staycation until I started flying this year again, right? And they started putting us obviously in our hotel rooms. And then I opened the window and I saw the sunset into Melbourne and I was like, yes. And then, I mean, I understand people can't fly nowadays, but I absolutely love seeing sunsets and sunrise. So on my aircraft, when there's like good timings, like sunset and sunrise, I'm sitting there going like, look at you, you beautiful thing, you know, that kind of thing. So those are like small things that I do
Right.
to make myself feel good. And I think like to cope with burnout, I think your friends are a very important group of people. I didn't realize how important friends are because I'm very comfortable in my own space. I'm a very solo person. Like you leave me alone, I'm very, very happy, you know. But my friends always have to remind me, Sangi, just checking in, don't burn out. It's just that one sentence and I will snap back and be like, oh, right. Don't overbook yourself, Sangi. Don't overwork. So I think reminders are actually very important as well.
A good support system is
are
very important. Yeah.
They always listen to me every night before a radio show, and I just want to say I appreciate you two so much. Thank you for always listening to me.
We're stuck for life.
We don't have a choice. But yeah, I think that with the company that you keep, right? Some people take away more energy from you than
That's
they
for
sort
sure.
of like give to you. So surround yourself with people that, imagine you're a wilted flower. Surround yourself with people that will water you and kind of revitalize you.
That's right.
That's nice.
Because like if you are with people who literally drain your energy all the time, you're just gonna keep giving and giving and giving because you are a nice person and you're like, oh, you poor thing, let me keep watering you. But when you're wilted, nobody's gonna be there to hold you back unless you find the right group of people, obviously.
Yeah. You gotta take care of yourself because if not, right, nobody's gonna do that, and that will, like we mentioned earlier, that will compromise productivity, and it won't do any good, lah. So I feel like sometimes you really gotta be selfish. For me, my phone buzzing gives me a lot of anxieties.
Oh, me
Every
too.
time it buzzes, it stresses me out.
My heart goes like,
Yeah,
Why don't you off the vibration
So
mode?
now it's forever on. Do not disturb.
so if you want to call Azura, you have to call her twice. Yeah. Just so y'all know.
It's true. And I know some people have gone crazy, some people being your one, being like, I don't even bother calling you anymore because I know your phone is on Do Not Disturb. But the day I decided that, you know what, I'm going to put it on Do Not Disturb was the day I realized that, you know what, I need to attend to you at my own time when I'm ready. I cannot make myself readily available such that the minute it buzzes, I have to go and because when it buzzes, it does that to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not that I don't check regularly. I check regularly, but when I'm ready, when I feel okay, I open, I reply everybody.
When you have the capacity for it.
Absolutely. I think sometimes, I used to have this problem as well where when someone texts me, I feel like I have to be there for them immediately. But the truth is you don't.
And I think we should like normalize that, honestly, because for me, like even now, like if you go to my notifications, there are quite a bit of notifications, but I wake up and I'm like, I don't have the capacity to reply you at this point of time. So let me get to a stage where I'm ready, and then I will have a conversation with you. But a lot of people actually do take offense to that.
They do.
Yeah.
And I think I've had multiple conversations about this where people think, it's become a culture where it is almost expected that you reply immediately. If not, it's rude, right? And it's almost become like an obligation. But since when was it like that? Just because you have your phone on you, just because it's available, I think people forget that sometimes the person is not available. Yeah. And like back then when it wasn't like so fast, right? You didn't have like instant messaging and things like that. It was a norm that people could take their time, and I think that's why.
Days even.
Yeah.
Correct, days even, because if not, you have no means of communication, and that's okay. But just because you have the means of communication, what makes it obligatory? You know what I mean?
I think from now on, I'm not going to use my phone anymore. If you want to reach me, you can send me a snail mail. Forget it. Send me a snail mail. I'll get back to you within 3 working days.
That's if the mail comes to you in 3 working days.
Yeah. That's the only way. You don't fax me anything. I will not answer it. But yeah, I think personally for myself, when I plan my calendar out and my schedule out, right, I will not see it as I try my best to not fill every waking moment with a work-related item. I leave some pockets of space. You can really see visually. I'm a visual learner, right? There are empty spaces in my calendar, maybe once a week, where I know this is for myself. I can go out for dinner, I can do whatever, but I'm not going to work. Yeah, have a good balance.
That's right. So if some of our harsh listeners are facing problems, facing a lot of pressure, here are some tips about dealing with burnout. First of all, I think it's very important to set clear boundaries between work and personal life, something that I think both Sangi and myself have to learn.
That's right.
Okay, the lines are of course easily blurred, especially with work from home, and it would be healthy to have certain areas at home for work and certain areas for sleep and play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't bring your work into the bedroom, for example. So this gives your mind a certain boundary as well.
I think it's also good to have a wind down routine where you can train your brain every night. Okay, I will put aside my phone. Maybe I will take a deep breath or something like that. I'll watch a bit of TV, and that's my wind down routine. I know I'm going to go to sleep. Yeah. Then you don't come back out of it and then go party or something like that, please. Huh? That's not how it works.
I mean, that's how they kind of train babies as well. After a certain few months, you will introduce a routine to them. Okay, you'll have your milk.
Yeah.
And then you'll take maybe a warm bath. And then we'll snuggle you to sleep. And you'll eventually fall asleep.
I want to be a baby.
Yeah, I know.
This is what they loves baby.
Right? Yeah.
Ew.
This one I resonate with. It says switch off email or phone notifications and disengage from work obligations.
That's right.
So, it's just making a point. We also have a producer note. Which producer is this? Hands up, please.
And producer N. I think this is a very good habit.
Yes.
Correct. She says, I mute my work chats after 6:30 p.m. Sorry for the delays when responding to your questions. She says. And she says, I also sometimes don't reply to work-related questions on the weekend, but if I do, it'll be brief and it's likely followed with something like, I'll get back to you in detail on Monday.
Oh, this is true.
Which is great.
This is true. She's ever said this to me. So the moment I read this producer notes, I knew right away it must be producer N. But I respect this.
Exactly.
This is very, very important, and she sets very clear boundaries for herself, which I think is a very good learning point.
Yeah. I think there are many ways that, you could cope with burnout, but it is important to know at this point that some people simply don't have a choice. Let's say, you have financial constraints, maybe you're a single parent, you might not be able to demarcate work and life and have that luxury. You might have to dedicate your whole life to work, and we really respect you for that. Yeah, so do what works for you, and as long as you stay mentally healthy, I think that's the most important part.
All right, so the $1 million question. Do you girls think that it is possible to achieve work-life balance?
3, 2, 1.
Yes!
Absolutely.
That's right.
I may be working hard now, but I don't think I'll be working so hard forever.
Yeah,
I'm
I
working
think so
hard
too.
now for me to relax in the future.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if work now, life later, that one is considered balance also, huh?
For me, it's my focus at this point in life. Because I don't have a partner, I don't have kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's okay for me to channel all my
Energy, right?
energy into
Yeah.
work. But in the future, things are going to change, and I know for sure I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to focus on my family. So that
But
is
when you're ready
my
to do
balance.
that.
Yeah, but when I'm ready, in my own time.
I love how Germaine touched about, some people don't have a choice. I feel like there are people out there who feel at this point in their lives it does not exist and it's almost impossible. And I think I actually know someone like that, where she is a mother of 2 young kids. Working from home is tough because the kids are around all the time. And she doesn't have family where she can rely on to, send them away. So, people say it takes a village to raise a kid. And I believe it's true. But when you don't have a support system and when you are the only thing that they have, then how do you ever find that time for yourself? Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
That's very true.
For sure. And that's why a good support system is very important, If you have the luxury of doing so, of having friends, having a good family, good colleagues and all that. Sheryl Sandberg actually mentioned that her husband, having a good supportive husband is very important. And it's not say that your husband has to be there for you 100% of the time, but it's just the little things like, maybe he drops you off at work. He picks you up from your gig, from the airport or something like that. He's supportive of whatever that you want to do. Yeah, I think mentally that's very important.
So Sangi, who is your support system? Is it your family?
Wow, that's a very big question. I would say my friends.
Your friends? Okay.
Yeah, because as much as my family is my support system, my sister is like my utmost priority. So I come back home, I de-stress. She's 11, by the way, so she's a kid. Yeah, I feel like I have to put that in because a lot of people don't get it, like why she's like my de-stress tool. So imagine you come back from a really long flight and then she's like, hi! And then she's always hugging me. So we're very, very close. She's always like sleeping on top of me. She doesn't sleep without me. So I realized that I get very attached and I can't sleep without her too. So she specifically is one of my support systems. But I think my fundamental support is my friends. Because we're all from the airline industry. So everyone knows that our schedule is like super erratic. Nobody is like in Singapore at the same time. And if we are, we try to meet up or we like FaceTime each other just to remind ourselves like, hey, we are here for you. So we could be having issues, sometimes with work, sometimes with personal life. But because we're always there somehow for each other, you don't feel you're so alone. You don't feel so bogged down by everything as well.
That's very important, that your friends understand. Imagine having friends or maybe a partner who comes to you like, why do you not have time for me?
Yeah. Oh my
Why
god.
we haven't met in so long? Like, do you forget about me? Like,
Yeah.
that's very selfish, right?
I had a
maintenance
friend like
relationships.
that. And I didn't realize that was actually something that I didn't expect because all my friends were very understanding, like all my life, because I take forever to reply messages. Like I said, I look at the message, I'll read it, and I'll be like, I don't have the capacity to reply.
Yeah, I reply in my heart. I swear to God, I reply in my heart all the time. Yeah. And in my head, I reply you already.
Then like 1 week later, you're like, oh my god, like hello, that kind of thing. But I didn't know that was considered a high maintenance friendship because recently someone told me, oh, I just feel like you're never there for me. And I think that hurt me the most.
Right.
I think I never gotten that hurt in a very long time.
But is it true though?
To me, I thought I was there the whole time because the person rarely confided in me much. It was mostly me confiding in them. I believe in you can't be helped if you don't want to be helped. So that's my logic in life. So if you don't come up to me and say that I have a problem, Sangi, can you help me with it? I'm not going to be like, are you okay? Do you have a problem? I'm not going to dig it out of you. As much as I care for you as a friend, I put myself first. I have a lot of things to do as well.
Okay.
So when it comes to work-life balance, do what works for you. Find your own ways to decompress.
I think self-love, self-care, self-focus is very important as
Very
well.
important.
For me, good coffee is of utmost importance.
Of course.
Right?
Coffee.
What is your order?
For me, it's like a caramel macchiato.
Yummy!
She's the biggest coffee drinker, honestly.
Do you guys know my order?
Soy latte.
Okay,
hold on,
soy or oat latte.
milk latte.
Oat latte, both works. I love my coffee. So today, if you're struggling with work-life balance, you feel like you need coffee in your life, we are very happy to be giving you 4 $50 vouchers.
That's right. It's this lovely cafe very near to where we work actually, and it's the perfect place to go for a nice cafe date. Yeah, so if you want to win this, the secret emoji you have to take note of is coffee lah.
Oh, the cute little coffee
Yeah,
there.
the cup of coffee.
So cute.
Go onto our Instagram at itsclarity.co, drop it in the comments, and our heaviest coffee drinker will pick the winner. Hazy.
Impress her.
Okay, impress me with your comments, okay? See you on Instagram at itsclarity.co. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Clarity's Podcast.
Make sure you check us out on wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Me Listen, and stay tuned to find out when the next episode drops.
And if you want to have visuals, right, you want to see us, talking about all these things, just go onto YouTube, itsclarity.co. You can also drop us a comment, a like, we'll appreciate that.
Once again, thank you so much for listening. I'm Hazel.
I'm Azura.
I'm Germaine.
And I'm Sangi.
Hey!
See you!
Bye!
And thank you, Sangi!
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I'm curious. You can fly with pink hair.
Yes, that's right.
Which airlines are?
I cannot see my airlines.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What's that? Like that? What the hell is going on? Correct what?
Okay, we got it. I got it. Is it the...
Yeah.
Okay.